know your ass better call somebody.
It's the D-O-double-G, the Road Dogg, Jesse James, and you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
Hey guys, welcome once again to Live and in Color with Wolfie D. And by this point, I think you know I'm Wolfie D. And I got my co-host here, Jimmy, across the street. What's up, dude?
Not much, brother. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Having a little coffee. Stayed up a little too late. Not doing anything wrong. Just, you know, those nights where you sometimes just can't sleep, and it's either TV or, for me, drawing sometimes. And
Yeah.
you go to bed till late.
Yeah.
So coffee at this time of the day is all right, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, of course it's right. You know, I remember my aunts and uncles, they would be like, well, it's too late. Let me get some decaf, you know, but I don't know, you know.
I used to hate coffee, bro. I mean, it's like one of the things that I never, like as a kid, how could people drink it? And even,
Right.
You know, I really don't think I really started drinking coffee probably till my 30s at least. And now I'm not a coffeeaholic. I'm not a, you know, I can't have that kind.
Right.
All that. I can have great value. I don't care.
Right.
But I drink about 1 cup in the morning, maybe 2, and then I'm done. If I drink it like it, people that drink it at night crack me up because my ass really wouldn't go to sleep then.
Right. I would just be up 24/7. So like you're doing the drawing, I'm actually up late working on the podcast stuff and trying to, you know, come up with interesting ways to tell our story and tell your story to the more people and stuff. So, you know, you're right. But if I drink coffee, I don't need it to stay up. My mind keeps me up. So, you know, but it's funny because I do love, like we were talking about this before we started recording. I love the nighttime because, like you said, it's quiet. Everybody's in bed. And no distractions. Yeah. You know what's really cool though is this most recent Road Dogg episode, brother. It's doing incredible, man. I mean, we did part 1. We've got part 2 coming up here in just a little bit. Man, I tell you, that guy was so entertaining. Y'all's stories together were so just incredible, man. I mean, I tell you, you guys, I know the reasoning why we weren't able to get him on before and previously to this, and thank God we got him on, you know, but at the same time, I am so glad that we finally got him on the show because y'all's stories, man, they're just hilarious, dude. You know, when you were talking about the Liar Liar movie, and you guys were like flipping up and down the aisles and stuff. It reminded me of was it Airplane? The movie Airplane, where they're like going up the aisle and everybody, it just reminded me of like different things. I don't know, man. I could just see y'all in a comedy. Like, you know, you remember those movies?
That's what it was like. I'm not making this up. Like, I mean, obviously he confirmed it, but I'd never been in a movie theater that was, it was like a wrestling crowd, but comedy. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always been in movies, even if it's, you know, very full, you know, the crowd doesn't really respond to anything or whatever. I mean, the crowd was popping on the lines and stuff, and just it was a great experience. Yeah.
But it almost reminds me of you guys being like, dude, where's my car kind of type things. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not that dumb, but still, I mean.
Hey, we were pretty dumb sometimes.
So one thing I wanted to know is, when did you first get word of that guy? So like, obviously you knew his brothers and you knew his dad, but when did you first, I know you said you met him officially kind of when you were getting that apartment from him and Tex, but when did you first get word that there was another Armstrong that was becoming a pro wrestler? Do you remember?
Well, I think it was just when he came to USWA when I seen him, you know what I mean? Because, man, you have to remember back then, before internet and things like that, we were, the only way you heard of other things was if you got a hold of, Meltzer's gimmick. And it was actually, stapled together, a little pamphlet, his little report, I don't know, 20 pages a month or something, probably, maybe that many.
Yeah.
And I especially wasn't one that really gave a fuck about getting my hands on any of it.
Yeah. Right.
Other than my ego, if I knew I was in it and they were saying something about me or whatever, I wanted to know.
Sure.
What it was. But even then, man, they didn't want to cover Memphis that much, man.
Right.
So anyway, it wasn't like I heard he was coming because of the internet. Let's slash the sheets back then. So I didn't know, you didn't know of anything like that. I didn't anyway.
Right. Yeah.
Cable TV. I mean, you did have cable TV, but you didn't have I couldn't watch other stuff. You couldn't on demand other stuff. And in Nashville, they weren't playing other wrestling other than the wrestling that was around Nashville,
Right. Do you remember maybe around what time that was, time frame wise, like what year that was? Was that after he had been in WWE already or WWF?
No.
Okay, so he had not. Okay, gotcha. So basically, did he and Jeff go up there at about the same time? If you just from memory's sake.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Because they were kind of around that same time. I know they were doing that gimmick with the roadie and that singing bit and all that. And I talked to you about this off the air, but you knew that was not Jeff singing.
Maybe I'm wrong on what I just said about. He came there before he went to New York because I don't know, my my times get off, but I think I'm wrong on that.
Okay, well, so I do know this, that they both left WWE and Jeff ended up coming back to USWA and Jesse James as well. But then Jeff ended up going to WCW and then back to WWE. But Road Dogg, I remember I asked you this off the air and to kind of get off that other story, but on the next one here, you said to me, I was like, I remember thinking that was Jeff singing. And you said, no, that was pretty much well known amongst everyone that it wasn't Jeff singing. But
yeah.
So you knew the gimmick basically. So
I was in on the work.
You gotta love it. But dude, that was for real, man. I remember that. And I remember, believing it was Jeff, man.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
I mean, it seems crazy to think about now that was him, but it doesn't. Because Milli Vanilli, that deal was popular at that time, So anyway.
You seen the meme of Milli Vanilli standing there and it says something about Milli Vanilli looking at all the TikTok lip syncers now or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, wait a second.
When you think about it, that's a shoot, man. They got buried because of it. Now you can get famous.
Right. Totally. It's a big deal now. So, well, anyway, I don't know. People keep asking us if we're on TikTok and maybe one day we'll be on there. I don't know. It's just something else. Something else we have to figure out. But if you do keep typing in live Wolfie D, you might find us on there one day. Yeah. So just keep looking. But until then, I say let's get old Road Dogg back on. You wanna finish with this part 2?
Yeah, man, that would be great because I'm sure the people are sick and tired of listening to me and you. They obviously tune into us, but this
sure.
Man. Neither one of us can upstage the Road Dogg. So,
totally.
Back with my boy, the Road Dogg.
Right after these messages.
Getting engaged is a moment worth cherishing. A one-of-a-kind ring that you design at Blue Nile can help your love sparkle. Just choose your diamond and setting. When you've found the one, you'll get it delivered right to your door. Finding the right engagement ring can be nerve-wracking. At Blue Nile, you'll have the expert guidance needed and a diamond guarantee that ensures you're getting the highest quality at the best price. Cherish all of life's moments and save up to 30% at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com.
Hey folks, to get your official Live It in Color with Wolfie D merchandise, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Live Wolfie D. Check it out.
If you're listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D on Apple Podcast and like what you're hearing, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating. And while you're at it, write a review. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you'd like to hear in the future. It's very important to us and always appreciated. Thanks again.
Man, something we talked about our last episode was the the Ric Flair match and everything. And publicly, I wanted to say thank you to you, man, for getting me on that. We talked about, you were the one that contacted me to get on it and put me in the position that I was in as far as a talent, and being able to, for the first time ever, say I produced something and had my name scroll on the credits for Ric Flair's last match. It meant a lot to me, and I really appreciate you for calling me. Yeah, no, well, look, I did it. I wouldn't have done it just because you were my friend. You have to deserve it too. And you do, you know what I mean? I knew you could do the job, both in ring and out. And so it was a no brainer to me. You live in Tennessee. It's a cool moment. You get a little cheese. You get to look at the first time I've ever seen my name scroll across the screen too. It was very weird for me. But look, it was cool. I'm not going to lie about that.
No,
dude,
I was trying to explain. Go ahead.
What did you think about, I don't know, you sat in on some of the production meeting, you sat in on the talent talk, and I'm putting you on the spot here big time, but what did you think about how I handled it?
I thought you handled it greatly. I honestly, we had text back and forth at first, I think the first 2 weeks it was a maybe. Then the next, whatever, you were like, yeah, you're in, boom. And I didn't know, I guess, until we got there. When you were sitting at the head of the table conducting the meeting, I think there was a lot of responsibility given to you that I didn't know before I got there. I knew you were involved, obviously, Jeff, Conrad, all that stuff. So, but you were kind of like, you were the guy, I feel like.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And I appreciate you saying that, by the way. And I just wanted to your honest opinion, like, oh no, dude, you're a horrible leader. Or whatever, what you said, I appreciate it. But that's what I did at SmackDown, man. And one summer, Vince didn't come to TV. And so I literally ran the SmackDown show. Me and Michael Hayes were in charge of the whole thing. Kevin Dunn wasn't even there.
Wow.
And so we were, and that's SmackDown Live. And I ran the whole thing and that's probably 2 years that happened. You know what I mean? Where each summer, we called it summer because the big bosses wouldn't go, and we were on our own. But look, some of the ratings were really good on those shows too, because we didn't feel stopped creatively. We felt like we could try anything, and as long as we knew Vince's, his limitations and his stipulations, we're not going to do anything crazy and go out, outside of what he wants us to do. But we also felt like we could be more creative. So I've had a bunch of experience doing that. And I'd love to do it again for another company. And so we'll see what happens.
And let me ask you on this end of it, on the creative side of it. I mean, obviously we know, for somebody like you to be able to even do what you did with you didn't know, obviously you're a marketable dude. You got good, thoughts in your head and all that kind of stuff. What do you think
from a creative side?
Yeah. So the creative side. Okay. So let's say when you were younger and you watched your dad on TV, for me, I'm not a second generation, but I watched wrestling. I drew wrestlers. I would create their backgrounds on a piece of paper, write about them. And so I think I was creative then. Did you have that at your younger age, watching your dad and stuff? Did you kind of try to book shit, or how does that go with you as far as a kid? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for me, no, I had no idea about any of the booking or the creative or I thought it was real till I was 14 years old. And then I got in a fist fight with Ken Lucas's son and Paul Orndorff's son, Buzz, because they told me wrestling was fake. And so I punched him in the stomach.
Right. Yeah.
And I showed them. and my dad was the booker of the territory that both their fathers worked in. And so he had to
tell me at the end of the day, like, God darn it, son, it is fake. And so that's when I learned. But yeah, I didn't have any idea. And the truth be told, Wolfie, I didn't have any idea creatively, even when I was the tag champs 6 times. You know what I mean? Well, when I was the tag champ 5 times, when I was the tag champ 6 times is in 2014, I had an idea then about the storytelling and the creative writing and the episodic television creative writing and the character development. And, I started getting involved in that. What I really love the most is the television aspect of pro wrestling now. And it's so different. Look, I also loved writing the show and loved sitting in and creating WrestleMania moments. You know what I mean? For several, I worked up there for 8 years and sat in on those meetings to figure out who's coming out first, what match should be first, what song do we use? You know what I mean? Like, I was in on that. And so that's a cool thing to be in on, but it's also a great learning tool. So I learned a ton doing all that about television and how to present the talent in the most positive way possible at all times. So they never look less than.
To me, that's the hardest part that I think people don't get, man. And just on, like I said, on a very smaller level, I've done it too. It's easy for me to, quote unquote, write for myself, but making up shit for other people, that's the hard part, and if you're capable of doing that says something.
I don't think it would be, I don't think you would have that hard a time doing it, Wolfie, because you have good instincts too. And that's what I think you were looking for earlier is like, I got a good feel for stuff. You know what I mean? And that's not something I worked on. That's something that just I have, and you have that too. And so I think what you can't get hung on, I couldn't write that. You don't have to do it by yourself. You know what I mean? There's a team of people that you sit around and maybe spitball ideas for one story on your television show all friggin' day. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what you've done is you've planned it out for a month with these cool beats. Then you have to present that to whoever's in charge, and they may shoot it down. And you go like, crap, we thought that was awesome. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not a science, man. And if you got your fingers on the pulse of what feels good and is good, which you do, you could do it in a heartbeat, man. It's just you got over, you know what I mean? You got over.
Yeah.
So you just do it. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the thing. So it comes natural to some of us, and some of it don't. And then we've both worked with those type of people where it's just like, oh shit.
Look, because there's a lot more of them than there is of us. You know what I mean? And that's not putting us. That's not saying we're great, Wolfie. I'm just saying that you and I have a good take on things, and good and rhythm and good timing. And there's a lot fewer of us than there are of the others.
But then,
you know what I mean?
You get, and when I heard Jeff say this about me, it pissed me off so bad. When he called me a carpenter, man, I was like, oh, I don't want to be that guy.
That's a compliment, dude.
I know, but you know what I'm saying?
I know, but Brad Armstrong was a carpenter.
Yeah,
I know I'm biased, but to be in that conversation, Bobby Eaton was a carpenter.
The baby face of all time, Jesus was a carpenter, so we're good.
Amen, Wolfie D.
So let me, I don't want to take it off this subject too much, but, speaking of Brad, it's a quick answer, really. If you want to talk more about it, I don't want to take you away, but is there a prettier drop kick in the world?
Not in the world.
Yeah.
Not in the world. Look, somebody, I'm trying to think who's Montez Ford has a good one now.
Yeah.
People that got some ups, some people that got some jumps, you know what I mean? But Brad's was also tiptoeing on your nose. You know what I mean? He would put them right in your face and not break skin. You know what I mean? And it was beautiful and a perfect work all at the same time from a guy who was probably blind without his glasses on.
Man, we had a show, just bringing that up. We had a show called the 10 Best Punchers. Jimmy gave his top 10. I gave my top 10. You were in his top 10, by the way. You were.
You were.
Who who is your number one best puncher in the wrestling business?
You know, it always, it's the old Lawler and Jeff Jarrett one. It always doesn't look like a regular punch, but it always looks like it hurts.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Like
that was my number one. That Lawler was my number one, because the reason I say that is because he can throw a punch with both hands from any angle. You know what I mean? Uppercuts, hooks, straights, whatever, and they all look incredible.
Yeah, and barely touch you.
Yeah.
You're right. Dundee could do that too, but he's stuck sometimes.
I was fixing to say that, man. There's a match with him and Bill had on the black trunks and the orange tights, and I forget what the stipulation was, but man, dude, it was like watching Rocky to me. It's like them two were hitting each other from some of the, like, almost behind each other, swinging and shit. It was weird. But
it was a loser leaves town, I think.
Yeah, and it was just
footage of that, and it is like a fight. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. If you worked in Memphis, you had to be able to throw a punch.
Yeah. Well, look, I still believe, and I know this is taboo today, I still believe you can't be a babyface if you can't throw a good punch. Like, you got to work on your punch. Daniel Bryan could never throw a punch. He threw a flipper. So Vince literally challenged him and said, hey, you're going to be a big babyface now. Learn to throw a punch. And he worked on it and learned to throw a good punch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people, you can learn to do it. You just got to work on it.
Yeah. It's like they all want to throw the little flipper thing like you're talking about now. It's like nobody really even I mean, I don't watch a lot of wrestling anymore, but I don't see the punches like I used to see.
Yeah.
No, and you'll see a lot of flipper trade-offs in the middle of the ring, and like it's
And the thing is, they hurt, but they look like shit.
Yeah. Hey, they look like crap, but at least they hurt like hell. That's the beauty of some of that stuff. Hey, bro, just hit me with your working punch or your shoe punch, because your working punch is killing
working punch is killing me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll never forget, before I used to do the 3 jabs and the shimmy and the big punch.
Yeah.
I would put people, and I started this in Memphis, I would put people in the turnbuckle and hit them with 3 jabs, and then do like an Elvis thing and run in and clothesline them. And so I got Ricky Morton in the corner one time. I put him back in that corner. I hit him with that first jab, and he went right down. And Ricky, I wanted to hit you with 2 more and clothesline. He said, hell, that first one knocked me down.
Absolutely.
And I thought to myself, I didn't nail him, but then I thought, man, he made my one punch look really good. You know what I mean? So
that's what I do. When people chop me, I always go to the other corner or way away from them after the first one.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, dude, when he comes back in, are you kick him in the gut, or are you going to let him chop you again?
Yeah. Ricky, one time, me and Jamie, you remember Kentucky Kingdom up there in Louisville?
Oh, yeah.
Me and Jamie went up there on a Tuesday before the show, had a few beers up there, and we're the baby faces, and we get in there, in this pretty big angle with the rock and roll and whatnot, and they start calling stuff arm drag, and we're the baby faces, and I'd go for an arm drag because they knew we was, had been having a few whatever. They'd pull their arms out, arm drag them, or they'd call drop kick and they'd move. Baby faces, and they were cracking up, man.
I bet they were. Look, that's a lesson. That's a lesson learned.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Old lesson learned. And that's what Memphis was there for, man. It was a territory. Look, everybody went through there. It was almost story reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the time, Rock went through there. Hogan went through there. Austin went through there.
Yeah.
Everybody, Savage, all the greats went through there, man. And Lawler pile drove them all.
Right. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Let's take a quick time out and get a word from one of my dope-ass sponsors, and we'll be right back with more Live and in Color with Wolfie D.
Support for Live and in Color with Wolfie D is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped recently launched the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle, the Performance Package. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code WOLFIE at manscaped.com. If my math's correct, that's about 8 million balls.
Hey folks, this is Wolfie D here, and if you are looking to buy or sell a home in Tennessee or Southern Kentucky, you're going to want to call my buddy, the rock star realtor, Benji Bowie. And you say, Wolfie, how do I get in touch with this rock star? Well, you can call him directly at 615-390-8216. You can go to his website, bowiehomes.com. That's B-U-I-E homes.com. Or you can email him at benbowie34@gmail.com. When you need a home, you need the Rockstar Realtor.
Benji is a member of Exit Realty's Garden Gate team in Gallatin, Tennessee.
With threats to our nation waiting around every corner, adaptability is more important than ever. When conditions change without notice, quick strategic thinking is crucial. And with obstacles consistently impending, determination is essential in overcoming them. It's this willingness, decisiveness, and resilience that sets Marines apart. With our fighting spirit, we don't just fight battles, we win them. Marines are the constant our nation counts on to fight the unknown. And through adaptable problem solving, we do just that. Learn more at marines.com.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
So we've got a listener question here from the Plastic Chic at GMBMPW. He asks a couple questions here. One of them is, so the DX invasion of WCW, didn't you have a couple brothers behind the lines working at WCW at the time?
Yes, I sure did. That was part. If you go back and watch it, you'll hear some of the commentary was me saying, I just want to see my brothers. I just want to talk to my brothers, make sure they're okay. And, you know what, we talked about that a lot afterwards. What if that door would have come up, man? They would have, if they would have wanted to, there was only like 5 of us out there. So they would have had a field day with us.
Yeah, and you know, Eric always says he wished he would have done that. He had Haku or Ming or whatever at the time and stuff. So that's the other question the listener asks, actually, is he says, was there a legitimate fear of a possible shoot happening?
So no, but like it's butterflies still.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because Kevin was there, and in the office, I was with Hunter. I didn't have any, my brothers were in there. Kevin and Scott just left, and so we had friends on the inside that we felt like, would have squashed it should it start happening.
Right.
But yeah, there was butterflies, but kind of thought like, well, we'll get through this. They won't let us in. We'll go back and edit this some way that makes it look successful.
It was amazing. I actually have a T-shirt from Homage that has that scenario on it. I don't know if you guys get paid a good amount of money from it, but there's a T-shirt company. Are you familiar with that T-shirt?
I am not at all.
Yeah. There's a company called Homage out of Ohio that has a deal with WWE, and that's the scenario. And I have that exact scenario T-shirt. So yeah, you should be making some.
You might owe me some money.
Okay. I mean, I paid $20. So how is it here? I'll probably send you like $3 or something. Is that cool to make up? Okay.
Or is it Canadian currency or is it American dollar?
However you want it to be. Yeah. It's Appalachian currency. So it's moonshine. And you don't drink, so we're good.
I do not.
Sorry, I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask you a question that I hate being asked, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. What's your favorite match? What was your best match ever?
Well, so I I had better matches than this, but the one I feel like we're best known for is the dumpster match with Chainsaw Charlie, aka Funk, and Mick Foley. It happened on WrestleMania. It was after the big deal where we pushed him off the thing in the dumpster and joined DX, and so our momentum was hot, and so it's the most I ever got paid for a wrestling match too. Yeah. So that's the one I always go back to. But look, I had some really fun ones with you. And
that's what I think me and you have the same thought process on that. And the reason I asked you that, because when people ask me, I got so many different answers. I have different matches for different reasons, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like where it was, or how good the actual match was, or what the meaning of it was, or that type of shit. Yeah.
I have a match. I wish we were doing video because there's a picture of it right behind me. It's one of my favorite pictures of me, and I just won the hardcore title, and I wrestled Big Boss Man. And prior to that, I cut a promo and talked him into putting the title on the line, and then we had a hardcore match all over the building, and then Mick Foley came out and did something to him, and I beat him, and I won the title. But I'm in this really cool gear that I had made. I got a noose around my neck. I got the hardcore title in my hand, and I'm bleeding from the mouth. And I just remember, man, what a great time I had that night with Big Boss Man, like a good friend of mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was on Raw for all to see and everything. You know what I mean? It was cool.
Mm-hmm. Talk about another great puncher right there. Big Boss Man. We didn't have him on our list. What a great one.
Hey, he could move for a big dude, man. Hey, one time we were working in California, and a bag of weed fell out of his boot. Me and him and the referee about did a triple knockout trying to pick it up off the mat.
Is this televised in any way that we can find on the network?
Not televised. It was on just a live event loop.
Yeah.
That's where some of the best shit happens, though, man.
Oh yeah, of course. Because you don't feel look, nowadays they don't have live events no more. Pretty much, they just do TV, and so everything's got to be rushed. Everything I only have this much time. Man, live events is where you learn to work. And that's, like you said earlier, 6 days a week in Memphis, man, you ain't working in front of many people, but you're working with people better than you, and you're doing it every day. And, man, if you can maintain your physical health during that, man, you learn so much. It's such an awesome experience.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And then it prepares you for that big stage, man, because it's like, I don't know. I could just, before we went out to the battle royal, the guys that were in front of me that were going to walk out or whatever, I could just feel their nerves. And I thought to myself, relax. Because I don't ever, and this is not putting myself over, whatever, for whatever reason, I never have got nervous because I feel comfortable out there. That's my home out there in that ring.
Yeah.
And I always nervous.
I'm always nervous before I go out. Once I get in the ring, I'm with you. Then I feel like, okay, now I'm in charge here. You know what I mean? And so, but always before I went out, I always got nervous, and I would look at Billy and go, man, I don't have any idea what I'm going to say. And he'd go, shut the F up. You know what I mean? Like shove me. and the music would hit, and here we went, But I got nervous.
That is so Billy, though. I mean, what was it when I seen you guys wherever it was? And the first thing he says to me is, "What's up, Dick?" Yeah, I seen in years, Billy. Good to see you.
Hey, the other day I said, and these people yelled at me, but remember in Tombstone when he said, "Smells like somebody died."
Yeah.
Or no, it was Ike Clanton in the bar when he said he's a lunger, and he goes, "Yeah, well, I hope he dies." So I said, Billy to me the other day, and I said, "Yeah, well, I hope you die." It's our favorite movie, so it's a big joke. Man, the girl, I forget who the girl was like, "Hey, that's not funny." She really got all bent out of shape, and I thought, "Yeah, I hope you died."
Sure, man. How old is Billy? 50.
No, he's 58, I think.
God bless, man. And he's still just a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in great shape. But look, that's look, that's his whole life is eating and training, man. He brings food on the road with him and doesn't eat out when, I go to get something to eat, and he'll come with me, sit there and eat a salad or something because, oh no, it's not time yet. Or it's not, he knows he's a mad scientist. He knows when your body is going through its, whatever, its insulin cycles.
And you know what, man? The first time the national audience gets to see small PG-13 in 1995 was against Billy and Bart.
The Giants.
We looked a little small compared to them.
Yeah, they're both 6'5", you know what I mean, at least, and 200 pounds.
Cowboy boots, So.
Hey, were y'all PG-13 then?
Yeah.
Or was it? So you PG-13 even when you were the Nation?
That was before the Nation.
Okay.
We worked them. Yeah. That was 95, and then we went back in 96 to do the Nation gimmick. I think you debuted the same. Didn't you debut at Survivor Series?
Yeah.
96.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And so
us, you, and Rock.
I said yeah.
I don't know what you said.
I said I got hit in the head a lot. I don't know really when I debuted.
I think it was, man. It was right around that time. I can't remember, but I was thinking Survivor Series, but fun times.
And that's when I came back as the real Double J, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a look. I was about to have, or I just had my baby, I guess, because I was still working in Memphis when I had her. But I guess I just had her. They called and said, "You want to come back up here?" And I was like, "Oh my God, please!" I got diapers to buy, man, and it just so happened that you went up there too. It was like Memphis went with me.
Yeah. It's awesome.
And good times, so cool, man. Jimmy, I'm going to tell you a funny story. And my man, I'm going to tell you something about Road Dogg, man. I look up to this dude so much. You have no idea. So when it comes to me telling a story about any kind of antics that we may have done back in the day, it's purely out of love because I respect the shit out of him. But I watched this dude try to put his shirt tail in a vending machine thinking it was $1.
That was a fun time, man.
It was that same plaid shirt.
Hey, I done that. That's what everybody tells the story about. It was a different time, man, and it was the decisions I made at the time. Yeah. I would, wish I could. Well, you know what? I don't wish I could have them back. I learned what I learned, and I'll teach my children. I learned, you know what I mean? And then they're going to have to go through the same trial and error and trials and tribulations that I went through to figure it out.
Yeah. But man, being real though, and I said this earlier, your whole family, man, you meet a lot of people in this business and stuff, but you and your whole family are just like I said earlier, just good people, man. And I appreciate your friendship over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for saying that, man. It means a lot to me. It does. And it means a lot to me that my family means that much to you. And I would argue that you mean the same to my family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just time in service, dog. That's time in the fight goes together. You figure out who you trust and who you can't, and you stick with the winners. You know what I mean? That's a life lesson, to tell you the truth.
The James gang.
Or you stick with the winners, or you find the guy with the most pills and pot, and you just go with that guy.
Hang out with them.
Yeah.
Hey, all right. So let's go back to kind of talking about that one question that I hated was, what's your favorite match? But tell me this honestly. Who did you, I don't want to say like the stiffest guy, but who did you just dread going to the fucking ring against? Me?
Well, it was, no, not at all. I imagine there was a while there where you didn't want to go to the ring with me and Tracy. But so I think, look, I want to say Vader, but once I talked to my brother Steve, who had worked Vader in Japan, and he was just like, you got to get his respect, man. You got to get his respect. And I just thought, he's beating the crap out of me now. If I try to get his respect, piss him off, then what's he going to do? You know what I mean? And so, one night I just ducked out from under some of those killer eared shots in the corner where they hit you with, and peppered him in the head hard as crap, but in the forehead. So it was, the hardest part of his head. But I hit him like 3 times hard, and then I just backed all the way up to a whole other side of the ring and the other turnbuckle. And I just looked him in the eyes and kind of with my body language said, okay, how are we going to do this from now on? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? I was scared to death. We locked back up and he started talking to me. Another one that, and we worked great from then on out. Another one that I didn't dread working because I had so much fun doing it but Bradshaw and Ron Simmons.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Fire out of it, man. They beat me and Billy and beat me and X-Pac. Hell, they beat me no matter who I was with. And they beat the crap out of it. And but I had a great time. You know what I mean? I was young and hungry, and it was just that time. It was kind of rough and aggressive. You know what I mean? And I didn't mind, and they didn't either.
Yeah, I remember. For me, it was the Eliminators, Perry and Cronus, and they had just come back from Japan, and then me and Jamie had just come back to Memphis from a little, trip to Mexico or whatever. So we were gone for a minute. And we come back, they're the champs, they're beating the shit out of everybody, and they start putting us over. Randy's the booker, he starts putting us over on them every single week, and these guys were legit mad. And they were starving, they were getting beat, you know what I'm saying? It's like going to the ring, I was like, God, they're going to snap and just kill me because they were so stiff anyway.
Yeah. I worked with Saturn one time, and he was... very stiff, not stiff, very snug and very hands, like no separation. He was always on top of me,
Yeah, he was quick. And then Cronus, what an athlete that dude was.
Was he stiff too?
He was stiff too, but Cronus, man, what an athlete. I don't know if you remember his build or whatever, but he was probably, I don't know, 6'3", 6'4", probably 300 easy, and he could do a handspring backflip over the top rope to the floor.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. Wow. He was very athletic.
I don't remember him.
Yeah,
I don't remember him.
But they would kill you. I remember old Frank Morrell?
Yeah, Hungwell Morrell.
Hungwell Morrell, yeah. and for some dumb reason, I caught a spot with Perry where he ended up having to, it was like we locked up, did something, boom, clothesline. Locked up against something, clothesline. So I ended up calling like 3 clotheslines for myself. Dude's tearing my head off. And Frank, you remember how Frank used to call me Whoopee?
Yeah.
He'd come over and lean down at my face. He goes, Whoopee, you all right? I couldn't help but to start laughing the way he said it, man, because he knew he clobbered me.
He was a rep. Yeah, old Frank. He was a horrible rep.
Oh, terrible.
Great human being.
The finish was 1, 2, 3, but the other counts 1, 2.
Yeah, you didn't have to guess when the finish was coming.
No, you sure didn't. And
who else did you not? Did you work with Jeff Gaylord?
Yes.
How was he?
He hit me so hard in the jaw one time that like for a couple of days, my jaw was like over to the side sort of, and it hurt to chew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. I never had to wrestle him, but I remember seeing him coming to TV, and I didn't have to wrestle him, but I remember thinking like, oh God, I hope they don't put me with him.
Yeah, dude, he stood up on the top rope. He gets up on the top rope in Memphis, and he stands up and puts his hands up there, and he loses balance, and he fell to the floor one time. You know how big he was, you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh Lord, he's splattered on the floor.
He he robbed a couple of banks. You know all that shit, right?
No, I did not know that.
Yes. I think he just got out recently because I feel like he was at a convention or something. Jimmy, you might help me on this because I think we saw pictures. But for real, he robbed a bank. He got put in jail for the longest. He got out, robbed another one, went back in. So yeah,
man.
What I guess you don't think about that part. You just think, man, I'm gonna get all this money.
Yeah.
You don't think about the part where the cops come and arrest you.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you try to get away. Yeah.
And man, that dude, man, he was wasn't he like an All-American from Missouri or something like that?
Yeah. He was a great athlete, and so he just wasn't a great wrestler.
Yeah,
or a bank robber.
he probably had top 10 punchers. If I say so.
Hey, he sucked as a bank robber too.
Yeah, he wasn't very good at that either.
That's hilarious.
Well, that's pretty funny, you know, that because that's kind of a current affair. And if you guys don't mind, let's go into current affairs. DJ, hit the music.
It's a current affair. It's a current affair. Love it in color. It's a current affair. Love it in color.
All right, we're back with current affairs from the part 2 episode of Road Dogg on Live and in Color with Wolfie D. And so, Mr. Dogg, the recent news out there right now that we've seen is that the Warner Brothers Discovery merger is spelling possible trouble for AEW TV, especially seeing that they're on TNT and TBS there. So the merger is trying to cut a lot of money, possible changes to TBS and TNT, saying maybe NBA is the only safe possible option, and that may be a move to ESPN. Now, this was all Meltzer's thoughts, but what do you think about this? Could it be bad for AEW?
I don't see it being bad. I see it being a hiccup for sure. But look, a lot of people watch TV by habit, right? And so now you'll have to know it's not on Wednesday anymore. It's on Thursday. It's not on Thursday anymore. It's on whenever. You know what I mean? So viewing habit to be retaught. So it is a hiccup in their business strategy. But I don't think it hurts them. I think they have a established enough program now, and their content is live on Wednesdays. So I think they could sell that to several different places that are always looking for live content. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think the idea of a AEW network with the Ring of Honor library on HBO Max, I think all that sounds pretty attractive to me.
Yeah, I agree. And look, what you do is exactly what the WWE network did when it joined Peacock. Is you're all of a sudden available to 14 million more people or something. So everybody's got HBO Max. You know what I mean? If you got that, and that's the AEW network with the Ring of Honor library and their AEW library as well, probably, or all their television shows. I could see that being successful as well. Streaming is the new network television,
Yeah, absolutely. So to kind of keep it in the AEW realm there, recently Kenny Omega was quoted as saying that he is unhappy with the American fan reactions to Japanese wrestlers, saying that a lot of our international talent came to this country not really expecting everyone to be as relentless and ruthless and have a shred of humanity. That was his quote. Now, I think this is specifically about the wrestler that was actually on Ric Flair's last show, Takashita. What are your thoughts on that statement there?
Well, look, he's probably looking on Twitter. And like I said before, the algorithm on Twitter, negativity drives that algorithm. If you say something good, it doesn't get any play. If you say something horrible, it gets a ton of play. And so I don't think that correlates to the American fan base. I think that's the Twitterverse, and I think they're a small but vocal minority who are very, very negative. Look, I would be lying to you if I didn't say I pronounced that guy's name wrong 100 times. And guess what? I laughed about it too, but I learned it before I met him, and I got it right out of respect. But for people seeing the name and spelling funny, and that's how people react, and people got to stop being so daggum thin-skinned, man. Totally. People kids are mean in school, and you learn how to socialize and get by and figure it out. And now people say, grown people say something. Oh, you hurt my feelings. Like, come on, man. I'm sorry. His name sounds like a cuss word in English, but it does.
It does.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to call the guy that, and I wouldn't be one of the fans chanting or anything. And so I don't really know what Kenny was talking about there, but he spent a lot of time in Japan where there are very honorable people, and Americans as of late are not, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I think he is an incredible athlete, man, but there's just that, I don't know, just growing up on Memphis and old school. And we just talked about me and you doing a goddamn chicken fight. But then when I see him out there wrestling the sex doll and the little kid and all that kind of stuff, it just seems like a old school wrestling slap in the face to me. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, look, that's the old school wrestler in me and in you. And that's totally valid. But I think you can't just look at those two as his body of work. Like, he's had some great matches.
Yeah.
With guys, and he has earned his spot. I just think he's a little used to Japanese hospitality and respect. And over the last couple of years, man, America has lost all respect for everybody, it seems. Yeah, and so I would say not just to the Japanese wrestlers, but to each other, be kinder to each other. Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah. That's exactly right. I mean, we could be kinder. I think we just spoke about this with Sin Bodhi. The general consensus is like Bill and Ted's, be excellent to each other. That's kind of how can we get back to the golden rule, so.
Yeah.
The next question I have for current affairs is Logan Paul. What are your thoughts on him? Is he the best celebrity wrestler ever?
I think so. I mean, I see people going like, he has no business being this good in the ring. Like, he's really good. Like, he's obviously a good athlete, and he trained hard to be able to perform at a level at WrestleMania and SummerSlam, and he did it, and he did the big frog splash from the turnbuckle to the announce table. Like, holy crap, that's stuff that the big stars only do. You know what I mean? And he's doing this stuff, and he's doing it well. And so, look, you can say Pat McAfee's had a couple that were really good, but I think this Logan Paul guy's a better athlete, to be quite honest with you, than Pat McAfee. Pat's just willing to do everything, and he's a student of the game, so he does it well too. But man, that Logan Paul was something to see.
Yeah. And I'm in no way knocking Pat McAfee, but he knows where the bodies are buried, doesn't he? I'm just kidding. He's actually very talented.
No, that's right. You're right. That's about, he came around once, quit playing football and started his podcast and his radio station or radio program and all that stuff. And they brought him on board. They really liked him. They really liked how much he loved the business. And so he got his feet wet down there at NXT. And then when they put him on commentary one time, man, they just said, we got to bring this guy back. But yeah, they are very high on Pat McAfee.
You can tell. And there's good reason for that, for sure. So, well,
Did you watch SummerSlam?
Yes, I did.
The tractor gimmick. I loved it. Did you?
Yeah, I loved it too. And they asked the other day on a podcast, they asked, which is more iconic, the beer truck or the tractor? And I thought, well, that's not fair. You know what I mean? Like, the beer truck from the hottest era in wrestling history, and this is just happened the other night. You know what I mean? Like, maybe in time that'll be an iconic moment, but this just happened the other day. He just drove a tractor into the ring. You know what I mean? Like, it was. Yeah. And I said even the milk truck was more iconic than the tractor. But I thought the tractor was really cool. And I thought it played into part of his character that he's brought since he's been babyface Brock. Talking about on his farm and working and drive the tractor in there. And I thought it was different and creative. So I loved it too.
I just wonder who came up with it. I wonder whose idea that was, because it was really good. I like shit like that.
Yeah, it was probably Brock's, or you know what I mean? Like, hey, they got a tractor over there, or they rented a tractor, and whatever. But
the spot where
Brock is great. Brock's
Roman
great idea.
The spot where he put Roman in it and then like dumped him out, I think was probably better on paper because it didn't look like that significant of a bump. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. He just fell and rolled and then just rolled out of the ring and fell a foot.
I think they thought this was going to do different.
Yeah, for sure. But there's not but one way to try that and figure it out.
Yeah. Let's go rehearse that one.
Yeah. Well, that being said, my final current affair for this episode 2 of our Road Dogg series is Ric Flair's Woo has recently been added back to the WWE intro video. Basically, after the Dark Side of the Ring episode, they took it off there, but Rick tweeted that WWE has given back his dignity. Now, that being said, when are we going to get the "Oh, you didn't know"?
Oh, you didn't know?
In that intro.
I don't know if you'll ever get it in there. So Vince taught me a great deal. And one thing he taught me that was a hard lesson to learn because it was about me and my character, but don't invest in the past, invest in the future. And what he means by that is you can bring those guys back and have a Raw 1000, have a nostalgia night, but don't invest money into that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't bring me back every week. And I don't know. Tell you the truth, you're not getting that, bro. They don't think of the old Road Dogg like you do.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Take us out, Wolfie D.
All right. Thank you, folks, once again for tuning in and listening to Live and in Color with Wolfie D. Thank you so much, my buddy, the Road Dogg. We've loved having you on here. I can't tell you how much it means to me. Your family. I love you to death, buddy.
I love you too, Wolfie D. I'm happy to do it, man, and we'll hop back on and do it again because it ain't nothing but talking to a good friend of mine and catching up and reminiscing, you know what I mean? And I'm always down for that. Hey, tune in. Go to roaddoglinks.com, ROADDOGG. Links.com, and you can find the podcast. You can find all my social media accounts and everything there. But look, I appreciate you having me on, dude. Thank y'all so much.
Peace.
Thanks, buddy.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, the podcast that's based on the old school but can still help you find the good stuff from today. Jimmy Street and the Plastic Chic, Jared, are the undisputed tag team champions of the wrestling podcast world. From thought-provoking topics to superstar interviews to action figure expertise. This team does it all, and all they ask is, give me back my pro wrestling! Every other Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
That's right, it's the Talk of Middle Tennessee, the channel you love to hate and the channel you hate to love. It's Brian Turner from Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. And if you're looking for matches from Wolfie D to Jerry Lawler to Dusty Rhodes and the team that put a pimp before your eyes and a goatee between your thighs, Booty Call and Athena, go to lostwrestling.com. See, I made it easy for you. Brian Turner's VHS Rehab. Booyah.
Hey everyone, this is Shane from Insane Shane's World. I release wrestling figures of enhancement talent, mid-card wrestlers, and wrestlers that you never thought would have a figure available. So if you're interested in adding a really cool and rare figure to your collection, then don't hesitate to contact me at shamtheman73@gmail.com. That's SHAMtheman73@gmail.com. You can also join my Facebook group. Just search Insane Shane's World.
If you're a fan of rock and music, I'd really appreciate it if you took a moment to check out my podcast. It's called the Decibel Geek Podcast. We've been doing it for about 10 years now. We talk about Kiss. We talk about Ozzy. We talk about Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and Metallica. We talk about all the legends from the 60s and on, up to brand new bands that you should be hearing about today that you're not going to hear on the radio. It's Decibel Geek. Wherever you find your podcasts, you'll find us there. If you love rock and roll, I can almost guarantee you're going to love my show.
If you're a pro wrestling fan, there's something for everyone at the Cheap Heat TV Podcast Network. From the Pro Wrestling Discussion Show, Cheap Heat TV Live, to the interview show, the Jackson Interaction Podcast with the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson, to the silliness of the Whitey Jenkins Show, and the brand new Zip, Xander's Irresistible Podcast with Charles Anders. You can check them all out and much more over at cheapheattvlive.com.
So that was another great episode. Hey, Wolfie, tell them where they can find you on social media.
Jimmy, they can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. I'm just kidding. They can find me on Facebook. My personal page is Warren Wolf, WOLFE. I'm on Instagram at WarrenWolf13.
You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Live Wolfie D. Here's the thing. Wolfie always has offers for his autographed photos. He has a selection of some awesome photos from throughout his career that he will autograph and personalize any way that you want him to. Just contact him either directly at his personal Facebook page or through any one of our other pages, and we'll make sure you get in contact directly with Wolfie. Get those photos, right, Wolfie?
Yeah, I've got some good stuff on there, to help with the podcast.
Folks, if you can't get out to a show to meet Wolfie D, there's nothing like that, especially for the fans of PG-13 and Wolfie D. And before we go, you can always find me, your host, Jimmy Street, at jamesrockstreet on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
And hey, Jimmy, before we go real quick, I just want to add in there, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate, first of all, the work you've done for this podcast. You have worked your butt off. Secondly, the people that are liking the page. Beyond that, even more, is the people that are listening, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and remember, guys, the podcast drops a new episode every Monday at noon, and our past episodes are streaming now on demand on all major podcast formats. Thanks again.
I got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome. He got a cap for your dome.
And here we go, the original white boy that came out sagging, not bragging, don't be hating, cause I'm spitting the truth, still livin' in color, from rush your mother, utilize a hubcap, unlike any other. Back in the day, I was NOD, and I was P to the G, plus the 1 and the 3, in case you forgot, they call me Wolfie D, been cloned and copied so many times, tired of suckers taking credit for what is mine. You know who you are without me name dropping. Wrestling's first white boy coming out hip hopping. Been doing it like this since '92. Laid low for a while and you thought I was through. Listen real close to these rhymes that I've injected. This shit's so sick it makes your ears get infected. Mad skills, no faking, there is no one great. Cause I'm bringing more folks and Obi-Wan for later. Not here to play games, so you better beware. You don't like me, so what? I really don't care. Like time I keep ticking and I can't be stopped. You sucker step to the side unless you wanna get dropped. With my finish, I'll straight knock you out. Please allow me to tell you what it's all about. I'm gonna wind it up, then I'm driving it home. It's Wolfie D, baby. I got a cap for your dome. I got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome. We got a cap for your dome.
This has been a James Rock Street production.